Okay, so it's not showing my face cam right now. Okay, there we go. But today we are gonna be reacting to some freaking crazy ads. Hi, thank you for joining as soon as the notification got out. I've done 3 live streams in a row today. I'm on a roll. I'm on YouTube, bro. But we get to enjoy ads today. This is one ad, so we're gonna enjoy it before we get creeped out, because ad can be peaceful before you watch creepy crap. So I hope everybody is relaxed popcorn and in a cover because it's cold for me. I'm not sure if it's cold for you, but it's winter here, and I hope you guys get spooked along with me. I love how they just react to that so soon. Okay, that was the ad, guys. No, 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 no,
I'm
no, no.
22 years old,
No,
fresh
shut
out
up.
of college, and
Shut
I
up.
recently got a job at my old high school as a sort of
Llama
computer
Arts.
intern in the school basement. The basement of the school is very messy and disorganized, but there is a small 3-person office that's actually very nice down there. It has
Me too.
3 nice
Already,
big
right off
desks,
the freaking
2
bat.
mini fridges,
And
a
just
flat screen
warning you,
TV mounted
these
on the
are
wall, and oh
true
so
lockdown
satisfying air
stories. So
conditioning, a luxury the students and teachers cannot enjoy
yeah,
at the
you should
school.
be creeped
And of
because
course all the
it's
school
true
servers and
lockdown.
other computery stuff. I
Don't know
got
how
the
to do
job
that.
because 3 of my old computer teachers flat out adored me. I could actually consider them as real friends, not just teacher figures. So they all helped
Teacher
tremendously
figures.
in landing me this job. It's been great, until something that happened a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I would
My
not
2
want to
coworkers
work
that
down in the
shared the
freaking
office
basement.
with me, Dave and
Basements are
Gary,
creepy.
weren't in the office at the time. They were upstairs working on papers or whatever. I was eating my sandwich during my lunch break when I got a phone call from one of the women in the front office telling me the school was on lockdown and that somebody, possibly armed, had entered the school. There wasn't much that I could do other than turn off the lights because, surprisingly, as nice as this little office was, it didn't have an actual door to it, just a big opening, and the
No,
door to the whole basement
that
didn't even have a working lock. For my own safety, I did turn off all the lights in the office and my computer screen. I kept my phone on the desk, texting both Gary and Dave, but they wouldn't respond. I sat down there in the dark, playing games on my phone for like 20 minutes, waiting for the call from up front to tell me to resume working. I had no idea what was happening. I couldn't hear what was going on upstairs from down here. But I was not allowed to make any calls until I was informed that the lockdown was over. Then, the noisy basement door opened. As the creaking echoed across the basement and into my office, I sat up from my seat, wondering if I should call out Gary or Dave. I was eager to get some info from them. Someone then came running down the stairs, and their footsteps were approaching my office. I pushed away my chair and crawled under my desk. Somebody entered the office, but did not turn on the lights.
What kind of stupid idiot person wouldn't
silence.
turn on the light? But still,
I can't even describe the fear I was experiencing. I felt like if I made one sudden noise, I'd be a dead man. Suddenly, my phone dinged as I got a text message. I felt my entire world shrivel up and die at that one moment as I clenched my teeth in fear. Footsteps suddenly moved closer to me until I finally dove out from under the desk in capitulation, begging whoever it was not to kill me. And just then, someone grabbed my arm and pulled me up. It was some guy in a red plaid button-up, jeans, and a reddish-black cap. He told me, "It's okay, I'm just down here hiding with you." "What's going on up there?" I whispered to him. He kind of ignored my question and asked me if there's an exit down here. I told him, "Yeah, around that way." Before he could do anything else, I asked him, "Who are you?" There was a brief moment of silence. Before he started explaining, he was coming in to pick up his son when a teacher told him to hide. After his explanation, I checked my phone and saw the text I received was from Dave. It said, "Dude, this is fucking crazy. Some guy with a gun shot Mr. Buckley. He's wearing a red shirt and hat. Whatever you do, don't come upstairs." I was about to reread that text out to the man, until I realized. I looked up, and felt my stomach sink.
That's him.
The man seemed to catch on to my suspicious stare. Panicking, all I could think to do was to run for the upstairs. A gunshot echoed through the basement, and I could hear the bullet ricochet off something metal in the darkness. But thank God the bullet missed me, and I made it upstairs. Fortunately, police were waiting at all exits, including the basement exit, and caught the man the second he opened the door. More good news. Our teacher, Mr. Buckley, survived the gunshot. It was later determined that the man and Mr. Buckley had some beef for whatever reason, but that was never revealed. All we know is that Mr. Buckley couldn't have done anything that would have warranted this kind of reaction. And I know that the sound of that gunshot will forever echo in my mind.
Is this... Oh, okay. Those... Okay. Oh, no. We're gonna do 7 creepy. Okay,
What is this bell over here? Can we click on it? Can we... Oh! We got another one! Wait, what is he doing? Oh, I think we need to, like, drag it to this one. Come on, come on, come on. What? Whoa! A bacterium. What the hell is this?
Yo, Gamers Alive, you still here? Gamers Alive.
It was the summer after graduation, and Jennifer was up late packing for a camping trip with her friends. She had the window open as she sat there folding clothes when she suddenly saw a hand coming through the gap in the screen of her window. Jennifer screamed and the hand flew back. She was stunned, but it could have just been her younger brother pranking her. She got up and looked out the window and saw the figure of a man staring back at her. Jennifer ran into her brother's room but saw him there, playing video games. They called the police, who came and searched the area, but they found nothing. Officers warned her and her parents to lock the windows and doors, but the mother had a feeling that he would come back, and as it turns out, Mother's intuition was right. She went outside and waited in the back porch, and after 20 minutes, she saw a man dressed in black in their backyard. He hid behind a tree and slowly worked his way towards Jennifer's window. The mother yelled something to the stranger and he took off running. Police came back out and again found no trace of him. Jennifer never opened that window again, not even the curtains. Her parents installed some motion detecting lights, and that seemed to be the end of that. About 6 months later, Jennifer and her friend got an apartment downtown together, excited as this was their first place outside of home and they are finally living in the city.
Okay,
the downside was that it was street parking only, and after a few weeks, Jennifer's car was broken into. Oddly enough, nothing was taken. A single rose sat on the passenger seat. This creeped her out for sure, but she vowed to be vigilant and safe. She always tried to park close to the entrance near the lights, but it was often difficult to get those spots and she would have to park farther away.
Gamers
Things
Alive,
quickly
you still
began
here?
escalating at this point. Jennifer's car was broken into at least once a week.
Okay.
Most of the time, a flower was left.
I guess she's not
A
here.
pair of men's underwear was there instead. And even more strangely, a bag of Tootsie Rolls, weird because it was her favorite candy. This made Jennifer wonder if the person knew her personally, and she started to become suspicious of everyone. There was a laundry machine in the basement of the apartment, and one day Jennifer went down to get a load that finished drying. As she started to fold, she realized that all her bras and panties were gone. By the time the first letter arrived, she had already started making plans to move elsewhere. The letter described a love for her that had been going on for years. He noted things that proved he had been watching her closely.
Say hello to Giftloop, the easiest way to earn rewards. Here's how it works.
I don't think
You collect coins by playing games,
I don't think
watching
Gamers
videos,
Alive is here.
taking
because
surveys.
It's not showing my viewers, but I'm scared. Please, somebody.
Not long after, Jennifer was able to arrange for another friend to take over her lease, and she moved in with a new friend on the other side of the city. It was a secured building and had an underground parking garage that was only accessible to tenants. She felt more secure, and the extra money spent was well worth the peace of mind. Things were quiet for a few months, and then her roommate got a boyfriend. There was something odd about Ashley's new boyfriend, and her friends were wary of him from the beginning. For one, he reached out to her. Another reason was that Matt was very good looking, and while Ashley was a wonderful person, she wasn't the type you would typically expect someone like him to date. Ashley was thrilled. She never had a boyfriend and really felt like he was her Prince Charming. Jennifer, however, thought he was weird and creepy the moment they met. She had deleted her Facebook account when the initial stalking began, but created a dummy account to learn more about Matt. It didn't look like he really knew any of his friends in real life. There were only pictures of himself, and the rest of the information was vague. Jennifer and her friends gently tried to discourage Ashley from seeing Matt. He technically hadn't done anything wrong, but he was just so strange. She would immediately get defensive and would shut the conversation down. Matt started to spend more time at the apartment, and Jennifer found herself finding any excuse to avoid coming home. One day she came back home from work and found Matt on the couch, alone, drinking a beer. Ashley had been called into work and she told her that he could just hang out. Jennifer had no desire to spend any time with him, so she grabbed the beer and a snack and headed off to her room and shut the door. About 30 minutes or so, he knocked on Jennifer's door and suggested they watch some TV and get to know each other better because they both loved Ashley. Not wanting to engage in conversation, Jennifer focused on the movie. But at one point, she glanced over to Matt, and he was staring at her with a smile on his face. Jennifer snapped at him and said, "What?" as he just continued to smile and said, "I just can't believe it." "Believed what?" He said nothing and went back to watching the movie. She had no idea what he was talking about, but the interaction had every hair standing up on her body. She excused herself and locked the door to her room. Another month or so went on, and Jennifer had managed to avoid being home for much beyond sleeping and showering. Matt practically lived there and had even brought a bunch of his things into Ashley's room. Jennifer didn't want to move again, but was beginning to look for other options. On Ashley and Matt's 6-month anniversary, there was a huge bouquet of flowers on the table and an already opened card propped up next to it. Jennifer was curious, so she opened the card and her heart started beating through her chest. Without even reading the words Matt wrote, the handwriting was exactly the same as the one her stalker had sent. Had kept them out of her desk for comparison. The handwriting was unique and identical. Matt was the stalker. Jennifer called the police, and as they were on their way, she called Ashley and asked her to come over, terrified to tell her the truth because she knew that her heart would be shattered. The police took a statement from Jennifer and went to Ashley's work to get more information from her, and ended up breaking the news. Apparently, Ashley called Matt after and left a furious mess even though the cop told her not to say anything, and he completely disappeared after that. There was no Matt or anyone matching his resemblance at the place he said he worked. Ashley had never been to his apartment because he said he would be staying with his friends while trying to save money for a trip to Europe. His family lived out of state, and she said that she had never met a friend of his because he said they had a falling out because he was choosing to spend so much time with her. It was all lies, and in the end, she was dating a stranger. For all they knew, Matt may not have even been his real name. He had left the duffel bag in the apartment that was full of gym clothes, but in one compartment, there were about 10 pictures of Jennifer. All were taken from far away with the exception of one of her sleeping. The sheets were current, so it had to have been at the current apartment before she started locking her bedroom door. A few pictures dated back to before the incident at her parents' house, which was further evidence that it was him as well. 2 pairs of missing underwear were there, and Jennifer shudders to think of what did with the rest. There was also a Starbucks lid with her red lipstick marks, and a necklace she hadn't even noticed she was missing. The police never tracked them down. Jennifer accepted an opportunity overseas and got out of there. But ever since then, Jennifer deleted all her social media accounts. She became very low profile, looks over her shoulder wherever she goes, as part of continues to worry if Matt will ever resurface again.
Fudge. It's lagging.
A princess too.
What kind of a princess are you?
Do you have magic hair? No. Magic hands? No. Do animals talk to you? No. Were you poisoned? No.
Curse?
trapped or enslaved? No, are you guys okay? Should I call the police?
No, they're just up.
Leah was a teenager living in New York. She was a competitive athlete in high school, and with her
Is it less laggy for you now?
she was under tremendous pressure to perform well in her sport as well as in the classroom. She was struggling to keep up with calculus at the time, so her mother suggested that she get a tutor. Leah had been going to him regularly, probably 3 times a week for a month, before she met Josh. Josh had the tutoring session after, and they would cross paths every week. It had never been more than a glance and a smile, as she was incredibly shy and terrified of boys. One day, Leah had to change his schedule and decided to book them together. Leah was shocked and delighted when Josh started chatting with her afterwards and asked for her phone number. Eventually, they both began dating. Josh went to a Catholic school in another town, but because he lived in the same town as Leah did, he took the bus every morning from her school to his. This gave them most mornings together, and he was able to meet Leah's friends. She was a little taken aback he didn't like him. Leah realized that she's been spending less time with him and assumed he was just jealous that she had a boyfriend. As time went on, things got more serious in the relationship, and that's what's begun to change. Though they always talked regularly, Josh started to talk about staying in contact with Leah. He would make her stay on the phone with him all hours of the night until eventually her mom started taking her phone away before she went to sleep. This relationship was taking a toll on her athletic career. She was too tired to spend extra time training and started to skip practices to see him, driving 30 minutes each way to his school. Eventually, Leah's friend sat her down and told her how unhealthy this relationship had become. She had isolated herself from them, and her entire free time was spent with Josh.
Guys, I'll see you guys in part 2.
At this point, Leah wanted so bad